So welcome back. Last session we talked about some of the getting ready signs and also the signs that labour is starting. And so this section we're just going to look into a bit more detail about timing contractions, because it's important to just be able to notice how long and how strong the contractions are, as that gives us a really good clue about where mum's at in the labour. So I'm just going to have a look at this slide for a moment. So the general rule is that contractions will get longer, stronger and closer together as the labour progresses. And so you don't have to time every single contraction, but it is helpful at times. So particularly when you were going to call the midwife, if you think it's about time to be going into hospital, if you think there's a change, if you think the contractions are coming closer together and lasting longer. So there are two timings. So if you have a support person or someone that's going to be doing this, it's important to talk with them about this. So one timing is from the beginning of the contraction to the end of the next contraction, and then from the end of the contraction to the beginning of the next one. So I'm just going to bring the slide that we had before of the different contractions so that we can have a look at that. So I'm just going to have a look at that in a moment. So we're just going to pause and I'll come back. Okay, so we're just going to have a look at that contraction chart that we're looking at before. So I'm just going to share that with you. So as you can see, the contractions tend to have a wave-like formation. So you start, there's intensifying of the sensation, and then gradually kind of going back down the other side. So and then there's a gap, there's a rest in between. So as the contractions get longer and stronger, you can see that they're lasting longer, they're more intense, and they're also closer together. So it's just important to notice changes that are happening. And the main thing that we do is we notice how mum's going. So one of the important things that the support person does is, when mum's having a contraction, they notice that that's happening, and if they've decided they're going to time, that's the time that they start timing. So you'll often find that mums will need to start to focus or concentrate. So they might actually close their eyes, they might start to focus on their breathing. Some mums will make some sounds. So some mums find it helpful to make like an ah or kind of noise, and that's fine. If you try making an ah or, you'll notice how relaxed your throat feels, and that's really important. We want a nice relaxed open throat for labour. So breathing or sounds are all fine. But if you think about screaming, just try ah. You can feel that there's tension in the throat. So ideally, we try and discourage screaming as much as possible. Just try and go with a natural breath as you go through the labour. So if I'm starting to focus on her breathing, or ah or sounds, that's fine. She might be rocking or swaying. You just notice that towards the end of the contraction, she'll often sort of, slow down the swaying. You'll notice that she might take a deep breath and kind of breathe out and then open her eyes, and that's officially the end of the contraction. So you don't have to ask, has it finished? Because that can get annoying after a while. If you notice those signs from mum, that's the time that you stop timing. And it doesn't have to be down to the millisecond. And there are apps and things that you can use for timing, but that's up to you what you feel comfortable with. Okay, so next session we're going to talk in a little bit more detail about contractions, and I look forward to seeing you then. Okay, bye.